We've just come out of the screening for the new RomCom called Anyone But You, and it follows Bea and Ben. They had a very fiery attraction after an amazing first date, and then it turns ice cold, and then they find themselves unexpectedly reunited at a destination wedding in Sydney, Australia. Not Sydney, Sweeney. So what they do is they just pretend to be a couple to satisfy all the other parties at the wedding. So you got Sydney Sweeney and Glen Powell in the lead roles there. It's directed by Will Gluck. Don't know if anyone's familiar with his work, but I believe he directed Friends with Benefits. So another classic kind of rom-com here. Man, take it away. What do you think of the movie?
I was pleasantly surprised about it. It was just nice and refreshing to have like a rom-com for once because they're just so rare. They're like comedies nowadays. Like you barely see them, except they're more rarer than comedies because we get at least like 4 to 5 comedies a year, where rom-coms we get like 4 to 5 in 5 years.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like that one a year.
Yeah, so it's refreshing to watch something that's not like a blockbuster or like an indie movie. Just something you can go switch your mind off and laugh if it's funny enough. And thankfully this one was funny enough. There was some really good funny moments in it that wasn't like really forced or anything as well, which is really nice. It still stuck to the typical rom-com sort of formula, so to speak. I feel like everything has its own formula. Marvel formula, Disney formula.
Yeah.
The rom-com formula, like two people falling in love and then a rift happens and they get back together somehow, that sort of thing. But yeah, I thought I was pleasantly surprised by it. I did enjoy the performances by Sydney Sweeney and Glen Powell. I thought they had great chemistry in regards to like their bickering and stuff.
Yeah.
It just felt so real. It almost felt like as if it was improv at some points because some of the stuff they were saying was just like, that's way too quick to like, it's just like straight off the mouth and stuff like that. So I really did enjoy their dynamic throughout the film. In regards to like cinematography and visual side, there was nothing that spectacular about it. It's just your standard your standard sort of cinematography in rom-coms. Same with the set designs. It was set in Australia, shot on location as well. So you obviously have the Sydney CBD in the background along with the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House as well. So it always looks nice. I did like some of the locations that they stayed at, like the more beachy area with their home before the wedding. I thought that was really cool. And that house seemed massive as well. But yeah, not much to say for a rom-com. It's just your standard rom-com, but good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely on the side of it that it is your standard rom-com. I saw the trailer and I knew how this was going to go.
Oh yeah, me too. It was very obvious.
I always knew how it was going to go, and I knew how everything would play out. They would introduce, this kind of side person. I know what's going to happen there, and it doesn't happen. Like, know these things. So the fact that, the rom-com really does have, a lot of cliches and a lot of tropes, and the majority of films fall victim to them. But, and critics are going to see this. They're going to pick the movie apart. They're going to take it with ultra realism, and apparently every rom-com needs to redefine the genre. So watch this get like 52%. I swear to God, it will be rotten because the critics will take it ultra seriously, and it doesn't need to be taken that way. I think what rom-coms need to do is allow us to get kind of invested in the character and allow us to buy into the romance. Can you feel the romance? Can you feel the chemistry between these two characters rather than just being like, oh, well, he's going to chase her and she's going to chase him? Like, they're just going to focus on those story elements. And for the most part, I really did like the characters. I think Glen Powell and Sydney Sweeney, they actually do some really good stuff here, and they have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
I really did buy into the romance that was, I guess, brewing between them. Also, while they're bickering, they played it off really nicely.
Yeah.
And, I think this movie just has a really nice, lighthearted approach to it. Like, it's always fun as well. I'm just having a great time. The comedy aspect of it is really, I'm not going to say really good. I was about to there, but it's not really good. But I had a lot of laughs in it, way more than I was expecting to. They actually kind of took it to some kind of raunchy places.
They did, yeah.
They did, yeah, and they played it off quite well. And I think another cool thing is that they took the location from your traditional kind of American setting, put it in Australia, and just from doing that, you have so much jokes to make there because they're in a completely different environment than what we usually see in the Hollywood movie. And I mean, it's cool that I'm going there early next year because they sold Australia. Like it seems like a lot of fun. Those blokes are cool, but yeah, the jokes they made from Australia and stuff like that, I really bought it. But yeah, I think the reason why I like this movie so much is the Sydney Sweeney and Glen Powell factor. Yeah, they just work and they're good. You get little subtle nods to things here and there. I think it worked out well. I know this isn't going to get a positive score because critics hate comedy and rom-coms. I mean, what was it? No Hard Feelings this year?
Yeah.
Like, it's just your comedy movie. It's just to like make you laugh. And they just bombard it. And some of the justifications is just completely ridiculous.
Yeah, and it was actually a really good film, that one as well.
Yeah, it's just a ton of fun. You can go in there, you're gonna have a good laugh and walk out. I don't think a comedy or a rom-com doesn't need to be anything more than that.
It doesn't need to be a Martin Scorsese type film.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be thought-provoking. It doesn't need to linger in my head. It doesn't need to have like social commentary about, all these social issues and stuff. It's just a good time. And we got to stop trying to kill these kind of movies, especially ones that are star power driven. Every year it's less and less about the movie star, and it's more about, the character and the story and the brand, all that kind of stuff, right? So, you got two kind of, would you define them as up and coming?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Are they here? Or are they up and coming?
Well, to be fair, did you ever hear of Glen Powell before Top Gun Maverick?
No.
So I'd say he's up and coming. Sydney Sweeney has been in like stuff like Euphoria. So she's a little bit more well known.
How much stuff do you got to be before you're here? But they are kind of, they're
almost here.
Yeah.
They're like on the final corner about to hit your driveway.
They need another good hit on their hands to really be here. But anyway, yeah, they're still one of the most popular up and coming people or up and coming actors and actresses. So it's a movie driven by star power, and it is a rom-com. I think we should be embracing these types of movies because we need diversity. And I'm going on a major tangent. This has nothing to do with the movie, but we need diversity in the release slate for film because I'm honestly, and you might be feeling the same way, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but we are just constantly getting brand associated or franchise associated films. And it's always just within that genre of just, action or something like that. So, I think we're talking just after the movie. It's just a nice, refreshing kind of movie where it doesn't need to be anything more than it is. You go in there, you watch it, you have fun, you come out. And I know this is going to be picked apart, but I'll carry on with my thoughts on the film now. Yeah, so that's just a major side tangent. Watch this movie be negative on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'll address it if it is positive and the critics rate it 75%. But as far as rom-coms go, this is one of, I'm not going to say the best, but one of the best I've seen in recent memory. And that's probably because I haven't seen much at all.
Because they barely, come out. That's
exactly.
why.
Yeah, we do need more of these. I actually really wish a lot of success for this film. We have a week slate coming up. Aquaman and Wonka, I think, are headlining the holiday season. And Wonka didn't really do it for me, but I don't know. I don't think Aquaman will either.
Definitely not.
Yeah. As for the cinematography and all that kind of stuff of the movie, I think we need to have a real serious conversation about the director, the cinematographer, and the costume designer for this. And this movie concentrates so much on Sydney Sweeney's boobs. I have to say it. Nain can back me up here.
It does, but to be fair, they are difficult to hide.
All right. We went there. I mean, And that may be a good thing or bad thing for you. It depends on what your take is. That's all right. But yeah, no, I think there was a way too much, just, I don't know. It just felt like it was almost in like every scene.
Like front and center as well.
Yeah. And it was just, it got to the point where, I had to say it in this review because I'm trying to give an accurate take on the film. And since that's almost in every scene, it kind of has to be mentioned. So the cinematography is not really good. It actually kind of, I don't know the words I'm looking for here, but I think it just wastes too much potential, especially with its location and set design and location scouting, all that kind of stuff. It's really good, but it focuses on the wrong things a bit too much of the time. So I think that does take away from the movie when it is excessive. But other than that, the song selection, I think there was actually some good song selection. The weirdest credit scene, like, when the credits start.
Yeah, it almost seemed like how would they have done that? Is it a spoiler if I go into it?
Yes.
Would anyone care if anyone goes? Is anyone going to go see this?
Yes, it's Sydney Sweeney, Glen, Powell. Well,
it's almost like they did it during scenes as a blooper.
It kind of does feel like a blooper one, but it's basically just a song being sung. I'm not going to give away any context beyond that. Yeah, it was really weird. But I mean, I think overall the film uses its song selection, while brief, to its advantage. And again, it's just a nice rom-com.
It's refreshing to have these
kind of films. Do you think that they chose Sydney because of Sydney?
Oh, 100%. I mean...
Do you think they were just in a room like, okay, we need to make a rom-com. Where should we go? Sydney? What's your thoughts? Sydney!
I mean, to be fair, if I was a director and I was thinking of shooting a movie in Florence, I would cast Florence Pugh.
That's really good. We actually need
because, the names align, and Florence Pugh is a fantastic actress.
Yeah, we need more actors named after cities, and then they can cross over like a war.
Oh, shit.
Like the city of Florence versus the city of Sydney. Oof. Yeah, they would go off.
City Wars.
City Wars. I like it. Any other takeaways from this film? I think I've tried to delve in as much as I can about...
It's very hard to talk about or to review a film where it's based on a rom-com where there's just so very little nowadays. It's very hard to compare. I don't think the genre needs to be redefined in any way. It doesn't need to be like the next big thing.
Yeah.
I think the thing that makes rom-coms is that it has its formula. Everyone knows what they're going to get when they go into a rom-com. Everyone, like, as predictable as it is.
They fall in love.
Yeah, exactly. You're just there because you know what you're going to get, like a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah.
So it's just the easy thing. You can switch your brain off, have some good laughs, And I think that's what everyone needs every now and then, It's just a good laugh.
Yeah, 100%. Which is, and comedy might be one of my favorite categories or genres of film, just because of the kind of effect that it has. I mean, a lot of people have horror as their favorite genre because of kind of the experience that they have, and that's kind of how it is with comedy movies. Except comedy movies are being wiped out. But you can just laugh and have fun and be like, enjoy it. And it's nothing more than that. But like, people seem to make it a lot more than that. And that film is way bigger than it is sometimes. And it really isn't. Your experience with a film, that's all that matters when you go see a movie at the end of the day. We have our experiences with the movies in these screenings that we see, and we come here and we talk about it. And that's what we're doing. We aren't the type of critics to go to it and pick it apart, dissect it, and simply just, take it deeper than it really is. And for a rom-com, it's never deeper than it really is.
We know what a rom-com is, so we can review it based on what it is.
Yeah, definitely. I would recommend this to couples, spouses,
even a first date. I reckon this would be awesome to watch on a first date.
First date? Don't you want to be talking to the person?
Oh, well, you know what I mean.
In the early stages of dating, you definitely want to take that special someone to this type of movie. It is a really good time. You guys will be able to laugh together, be able to enjoy and experience that together. I think groups of girls, them and their girlfriends, they can just go out and they can have, a few wines, go see this. I think that's a perfect complimentary thing to a little bit of drinks there. Even the lads. No, it's not really even the lads, but me and Anne are lads, and we went and saw it, and I think we had a good time. So you can take a lad. If you're close enough with the lad, you can take the lad.
You can take the lad.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask him, because he may say he wants to see Wonka or Aquaman, but you want to see this one more.
Because you want to support rom-coms and comedies.
Exactly.
So you can get more of these.
Yep. All right. Before we wrap it up, score out of 10. What would you give Anyone But You?
Anyone But Me. So does that mean I can't give my score?
No, that's the film's title.
Ah, I see what you did there. I thought you were making a dumb pun again.
I'm not even intending to make these puns with this movie. It's just the title of it.
I think I'm going to give it a 7. It stuck to its roots of the rom-com formula. It knows exactly what kind of film it wants to be. Followed it every single step. And I think the major part of it is the comedy and Glen Powell's and Sydney Sweeney's chemistry. How they went from bickering to eventually falling in love to bickering again. So I think that's probably one of the best aspects is the two main leads in this film. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like it. And then, if there's some loyal listener out there, and shout out to you, thanks for listening to everything.
I know one.
Yeah, they're going to be like listening, and they're going to be like, oh, but you rated this movie 6, and then now you're going to give some random rom-com a 7. It's not about that. They're like, it's two different scales. And at least for me, I'm going to agree with you and say a 7 out of 10. But people are going to be like, oh, Priscilla, for example, they're going to be like, oh, you gave that a 6.5 or a 6 out of 10. And they're judged way differently, because they are two different genres of films, and the experience of Anyone But You, it's not amazing. Don't get us wrong. I know it may seem like we're hyping it up.
I think it's because it's like so rare that we have rom-coms that like it's like an event film. It's like an Avengers Endgame, Every time a rom-com is on a calendar.
Now we're definitely hyping it up. It's like an Avengers Endgame.
Anytime a rom-com is on a film slate for the year, which is like probably once every decade.
Yeah.
That's an event. You go put your seats in that cinema and watch that fucking movie.
Yeah, we were clapping away. We were cheering when someone had a cameo. We were there.
I lit some fireworks. I got told off.
Oh, no. But, yeah, they are judged differently. At least in my mind, I had a much better time with Anyone But You than Priscilla. And that's all that rom-coms need to do. It's not groundbreaking. It's nothing like that. It's just a good old-fashioned time. Otherwise, we're done here on this review. This is my final review, likely, maybe not, coming out of studio invited screenings for us. We actually did get an invite today for the 9th of January, the day before I leave.
For?
Beekeeper.
The fuck is that?
It's a Jason Statham movie.
Oh,
so.
Surely.
No. Maybe, but we'll see. But
you pack on the 8th, you get ready. One final review.
It's not for the Beekeeper.
For the Beekeeper.
I could not do it.
We had our rom-com. Now we have a Jason Statham to cap off our last physical review.
This movie here, I think, is a nice way to cap things off. The studio invited screenings and their reviews. We'll have to see, though. I don't know yet. Hopefully we get lucky, but who knows. Otherwise, we are going to have Poor Things and
Aquaman.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that movie. Yeah, we're going to have those two reviews up at least. Otherwise,
maybe Zone of Interest if we're lucky enough.
Hopefully, if we're lucky enough, we'll see on that one. Hopefully American Fiction, but New Zealand doesn't even have a release date for that. Otherwise, we'll still be doing reviews and going through the podcast, going through YouTube. Will be filmed as well, so that's something exciting to look forward to. Otherwise, check us out on moviegames.com. That's where we post the majority of our content. We got a precursor tracking leaderboard right now. It's getting a lot of hits. Thanks for everyone that's checked it out so far. You can keep up to date with who's winning what at what awards. Check that out. We're also active on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube as well. Hit the subscribe, jump to the comments. You guys know what to do. Other than that, we are out of here. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.